We're back. We're back with Mad About Markets, and we hope you've stayed mad about markets in these 4 months that we've been away. What a fabulous 3 seasons we've had. We've talked about everything under the sun, and just when we thought we were about getting done, the last 4 months, the world has really changed. And why has it changed? The biggest reason for that change, that's why we're back here today to talk about that and a whole lot more through this episode. But what's on top of mind, Mangalam?
What's on top of mind? The thing that has been on top of mind of the world for the last 2.5, 3, maybe 4 months or so.
Yeah.
It's 2 simple words or 2 simple letters: artificial intelligence or AI. That has
Small letters, huge implications.
That's on top of mind. That's what we're going to do. Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to dive deep into the world of AI, explore its potential, most importantly, the impact on our lives, and how it could change a lot of things in the world. Let's talk about ChatGPT, because no conversation about AI can start without ChatGPT. You've heard about it, of course. You've used it, perhaps. If you haven't, then you should, because it's the fastest growing app ever. Launched towards the end of the year, 30th November to be precise, the app reached 1 million users in just 5 days, beating out all the big names ever, the likes of Twitter, Facebook, Netflix, all of them. And by January 2023, it had 100 million users. That's not all. We looked at it in February, the website had 1 billion visits, billion unique visits, and as of the latest available data, end of March, 186 million users. That's crazy, right? Just 4 months and 200 million users.
Those numbers are mind-boggling, the speed of adoption of AI and what it's going to do in future. Because you know what, if you look at other apps that have actually been able to get that many users, now Instagram is a distant second. It took the app 2.5 months to reach 1 million users. Now, Facebook took 10 months to do that. But if you look at the 100 million user club, you have apps like TikTok. That took 9 months to reach 100 million users. Spotify took 13 months, Uber 17 months, ChatGPT, like Mangalam was just telling us, 2 months. Now, that is the power of artificial intelligence, of AI that we're talking about here today. And it is, like I said, mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling, and not just the use of adaptation. If you just take a look at the way everyone's looking at revenue generation capabilities from artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, when it was launched, the year of its launch, it's expected sub $10 million in terms of revenue. The next year, 2023, where we're in right now, the company is guided for $200 million of revenue. 2024, this jumps all the way up to $1 billion. And 2027, $10 billion. So this journey of 5 years from sub $10 million to $10 billion is baffling, right? And that's only ChatGPT, and which is why perhaps we have a lot of other players as well looking at the artificial intelligence space. I mean, you look at the recent announcements that have happened in the world of AI. Microsoft been working on its Bing AI. Google, of course, launched its Bard AI, some speed breakers notwithstanding. Meta has launched its own AI lab to develop new AI technologies. And what have you, Apple, IBM, any big tech or small tech company that you speak about has some, interest in artificial intelligence.
Well, it's not just tech giants, right? Companies in India are talking about it increasingly. I mean, you have tech companies in India. You have Infosys, TCS at their press conferences. The new buzzword is AI. It's not attrition. It's not revenue. It's not dollar revenue guidance. It is AI. Hear it from what they said.
We are leveraging generative AI capabilities for our clients and within the company. We have active projects with clients working with generative AI platforms to address specific areas within their business. We have trained open source generative AI platforms on our internal software development libraries. We anticipate generative AI to provide more opportunities for work with our clients and to enable us to improve our productivity.
Well, you heard it from the horse's mouth. You have Infosys, TCS, and whatnot talking about AI, which is the buzzword. Now, the many kinds of AI that are in the market, at least for now, there are 3 primary ones we're discussing. The first type is a generative AI, which can recognize patterns and create new outputs. The second one that we have is a responsive AI. What it does is interacts with users. Your chatbots and all that you often come across on websites are often powered by responsive AI. And the third type is an autonomous intelligence AI, which makes automated decision-making without human intervention. Now, this itself is expected to be a huge game changer for several industries. We'll see how it impacts everything around it. But on that note, Mangalam, we're going to introduce our guests to really tell us what's going on in the market right now.
And they have been doing a lot of stuff in the generative, responsive, and the autonomous AI space itself, and they are homegrown. They are co-founders of Fluid AI. With us, we have Abhinav Agarwal as well as Raghav Agarwal. They founded Fluid AI.
Hi,
how long
Abhinav.
ago was that?
Hi, Mangalam.
Hi, Raghav.
Hi, Riddhi.
Good to have you on the show.
Awesome to be here.
Wait, I see you
Yeah.
carrying a book.
Yeah, so
What exactly is this?
this is the first AI written book.
Okay,
It's
how
written
long ago?
completely, it was written in November 2022, and it's a bestseller on Amazon right now.
How does it feel that, a book that wasn't written by a human is a bestseller? Wrong at some point?
No, I think it showcases the power of the technology, right? So we still sort of edited it, we sort of still asked it the questions. But, it was sort of, we did so many AI implementations in the past that we were very interested in saying that how does a company really implement AI? So we said, let's ask the AI. So it's an AI on AI kind of a take.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a very interesting sort of a scenario.
We will most definitely read this, and now that you've called it an Amazon bestseller, I'll probably check it out. But why have you, given credit to Abhinav and Raghav when the writer of the book is AI itself?
AI. Yeah.
So it's an AI that sort of our company created, and we sort of really sort of gave it the thought behind it.
Right?
So, tell us about your company. What does Fluid AI do? I mean, we've heard of ChatGPT. Everybody's tried using it. We know Bard is sort of in the
coming
picture.
up.
We know Meta's investing. What is Fluid AI doing?
So at Fluid AI, we essentially allowing enterprises to leverage GPT in a very new way, right? So ChatGPT is very public. You can use it to ask it for a recipe.
Yeah.
You can ask it to do any kind of fun stuff.
Travel.
But when an organization wants to use it,
Yeah.
you can't put your private data onto ChatGPT, right? That's going to be a disaster out there. Plus, you want to expose it to more specific use cases of your organization. So think of it like this really smart knowledge worker.
Yeah.
But you can actually have AI go ahead and now understand everything of your organization, start having
Make
it.
sense of the data.
Absolutely.
Give us an example of a tool that you've created.
So, for instance, customer service and support is a huge area, right? And typically, there are a lot of SOPs, manuals, etc., that banks, financial institutions have. And for a new sort of knowledge worker to get it trained, it takes months. But our AI knows all the internal SOPs, processes, and can answer them within 30 seconds. So the customer service experience really elevates to the next level. Is just one scenario.
That's something we've had for a while, right? I mean, we're talking about the explosion that we've seen in the last 4 months, because we've been on websites. I'm sure you've used chatbots too.
Bunch of them.
Yeah. So what's new in the responsive AI?
So what changes here is that, when you have a GPT algorithm at the back and you do the same use case, it's very different, right?
How so?
So if let's say you chatted with a chatbot, right? It used to take you through those simple flows saying, okay, what's wrong?
Yeah.
My internet banking's an issue, password reset, right?
Yeah.
Now it can go ahead and it can, like a ChatGPT experience, right? You can say, I have this issue, it's going to guide you, but you can say, write an email to the customer informing him that this is how to solve it. And it's going to generate the entire email on the fly, send it out to the customer on its own. So it's a very different paradigm when you start interacting.
Are you guys the only guys doing this in India?
As of now, I think we are. I wouldn't know anyone else in the space right now.
Or you wouldn't talk about anyone else? No, but what we try to understand is the kind of opportunity that there is. Because what's the kind of run rate that you're at right now?
So, being a private company, we don't reveal that, but we are growing at a very fast pace. We are doubling in size almost every year for the last couple of years now.
And I think the key that we're seeing is that most organizations typically now are saying that, okay, all individuals like you and me have started using ChatGPT almost on a daily basis when you talk to anyone.
Yeah.
But organizations haven't brought that excitement into their orgs, right?
Yeah.
And that's where we feel the explosion is now kicking off.
Is the business really starting to pick up in the last 5 to 6 months, much more than you saw before?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen, like Raghav was mentioning, we used to double, but this year we're seeing at least a 4x a year easily.
Are you raising funds? I mean, if you're planning to grow at the same pace as the demand, are you in the market for funds? Because we do hear that it's not very easy to get funds for AI startups right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the generative space, if you say you're doing generative AI, raising funds is very, very easy now.
Okay.
But and it's an expensive practice as well, because running the whole engine is pretty expensive. But what we found is we've been profitable for the last 10 years. So we've been growing really well profitably. So we're kind of at the stage where we're deciding that, okay, if the right opportunity strategic exists, we might go for it, but we won't do it for the money.
So far you've been entirely bootstrapped.
Bootstrapped, yes, yeah. It's a
All
college
right.
startup, so both of us.
Okay, so let's do this. Before we talk about generative AI and the impact that it can have on organizations, etc., let's talk about the impact that it can have on the world itself. Goldman Sachs actually predicts that generative AI itself could drive a 7% increase in global GDP, which amounts to almost $7 trillion. That's a little over 1.5 India being added to the global GDP itself. Meanwhile, AI could boost global GDP by 14%, which is an additional almost $16 trillion as per PwC. So two estimates coming in on board here. The AI space is booming and investments and deals are being made left, right and center. If you just take a look at Jasper Chat, for example, has raised about $125 million in a Series A funding round. ChatSonic AI raised about $2.6 million in September 2021 in a seed round led by Soma Capital and 20 other investors. They are now planning a Series A-B funding round in the first quarter of 2023 itself. Not many deals, but the ones which are happening are big, Ritu.
And I'm sure these will pick up as, the use cases expand as, these guys have been telling us more and more companies now are looking to AI. In fact, you know what? According to UBS, 33% of 250 plus generative AI companies have not raised any outside funds, just like Fluid AI, and 51% are just in Series A or early stage companies, so they're just starting to pick up. The average deal in this space is at 20 to 25 times revenue, with recent ones even crossing 40 times, for instance. Now, we also have to talk about how large this market can really be. Now, currently, it is projected to grow from about $87 billion as of 2021 all of the way to $165 billion by just 2023. And thereon, you see the kind of growth that is expected. $314 billion by 2025, more than double to $829 billion by 2028. And just by 2030, $1.5 trillion. That is the kind of market we're talking about. And these are just early estimates.
These are just early estimates and, it can expand too much. As far as India is concerned, what are your thoughts? I mean, globally, it's an $87 to $90 billion market currently. How big could India be right now?
I think India could be 15-20% of this.
15-20%?
Because if you look at it, what AI is going to do is going to empower a lot of our people who may not be literate, who may not have the English skills, to sort of just give their thought process to the AI and get back what they need to communicate with the rest of the world.
So what happens to the large companies, Infosys, TCS? I mean, everyone can code now. Their moat was to get a lot of people who can code. Now, if that can be done using artificial intelligence, do we see a reduction in their employee numbers?
Well, it's kind of a catch-22, right? Because it's about how they play this whole space, right? You could say that suddenly an Infosys could lower its cost, right? Start hiring from all over India. Much lower talent levels are needed, and suddenly they're actually booming the lower level of the economy, getting them to the next level.
That's one way of looking at it, but will it reduce the total number of jobs? Because a lot of it will be automated in future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at least what we've seen is every time one level of automation has hit, right? Like when the Industrial Revolution hit, when computers came, everyone talked about jobs would go. But these technologies fundamentally grow the market so much that I think GDPs of countries will phenomenally jump now. And that will create a whole wide of jobs. So there will be job replacement.
But let's also talk about concerns. When you started talking to us, you said something about, it'd be crazy if companies are putting all their data out there, to get some kind of responses. Again, the question mark is, even when you and I are using ChatGPT, I don't know what you use it for.
I will tell you.
I'm not putting my bank statements out there yet. I just wanted to understand, as people in the industry, where does the responsibility for privacy, for security of our data lies?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think data has now become the key moat in creating all these AI technologies. So I think the future is going to be a lot of private models. So while the public models like ChatGPT will exist, everyone's going to have their own private GPT brain that's kind of sitting within their organization that's doing all the fun stuff.
All right, gentlemen, just hang on to those thoughts. There is a lot we will discuss after this short break. So it's time now for us to take that short break. On the other side, as always, discuss the pros and the cons, which we call the yays and the mays of the AI economy. Also, the bigger question, is artificial intelligence a transformative technology or a threat to jobs, privacy, or humanity? Our guests will join us back. Stay tuned.